Oh yeah, we're live.
We're live. We're live. For those that have joined us, thanks very much for coming to the Spurs Web first ever live broadcast. Going to be looking ahead to a massive game tonight and looking ahead as well with our predictions, what we think of the team, and just how we're feeling in general, really. Obviously, still waiting on the team to come through. But just before then, as we wait for that, Cenk, how are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling quite optimistic. I think, in past times we've played them, we fancied ourselves and it's not quite worked out. But I think this time, I think that the game's there for the taking. I think we've got a good chance. I think, as I've said previously, we've got the quality to do it. So I think in terms of that, we can do it. Obviously, we'll see the lineups. We'll see if we've got a recognised left back playing for us. Davis is apparently okay. I'm not sure about that. And Reguilon's obviously apparently got a muscular injury. So we'll see how that is and see how Liverpool lines up as well.
Yeah, I think we were just saying before we came live there that, recently we've had a few sort of games against Liverpool where we've, probably deserved to get more out of it and either, bottled it or something hasn't gone our way.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Ben? Obviously, they're missing a few big players. Are we, hoping that will help us get a result tonight?
Definitely. I think there's rumours for Fabinho. I think we mentioned before we came on air, Fabinho's been reported that he's not travelled, so that's a huge boost, I think. And I just think in general, the defence, as has been proven in the last few weeks, is there to be got at, I think if we're positive and we go and be aggressive from minute one, which is what we should be doing, we shouldn't be sitting off. We should be at it from the first whistle tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point, especially in this Mourinho era, how we sort of go up against bigger teams as well. The way we set up, and if we're positive. Just thinking, Keith, looking at it, it looks like there's a chance that then obviously Ori will be playing. How have you thought he's done? I mean, for me personally, he's been great in the big games this season anyway.
Big games especially, I think he's been one of, if not our best performer. Maybe take out Son and Ndombele, but he's been incredible in the big games. He does have a mistake in him, but we know Mourinho has kind of come in and he's ironed the mistakes out most of the time, bar the Leicester game. So, yeah, he's doing really well. Let's hope he has a big performance tonight.
Yeah, I think you obviously just mentioned in there we've got a touch on him. And Ndombele, after what happened in the week, which was just we were struggling a little bit, and then he came on and showed his quality. Just looking at that, Cenk, what do you think of that? And also, do you think he holds the keys tonight? Because I'm looking at it and I think looking at their midfield is strong, but I think he's better than any of them at the moment. And if he plays well, that could be the difference.
The guy is honestly, it's just so good. Like when it comes to just like raw talent, it's there. And we even saw it even at the start, like where he was going for a bit of a rough patch, that he had the quality and he had the skill. Like drop of the shoulder, he's got a change of pace, he's got skill about him, and he can chip in with goals and assists as well. And we saw against Sheffield, we saw against Wickham that the guy can take a game by the scruff of the neck and just take it himself. So yeah, he's class in that way, and I fancy him today because he didn't play last time against, I think it was the last game at Anfield. So I fancy him to show up today against that Liverpool midfield, which is debatably, they say, is one of the best in the Prem in Europe. So it'll be good to see how he comes up against them.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I don't know what you think, Ben. I've seen obviously on Twitter, there's been a lot of talk really about Ndombele and like where he's best actually playing in that midfield. Obviously, he's so good going forward. He's so good beating people. But do you prefer him to see a little bit deeper, picking the ball up off the defence, a little bit like Moussa Dembele used to do, or do you think he's better a little bit further on than that?
I actually think he's probably better suited to being further forward. I think having the protection of Højbjerg behind him gives him the freedom to do that. And I think you've seen the last few weeks, he's got that. If he goes forward, he's got that creative ability. I mean, the Sheffield United goal, I mean, I think that just speaks for itself. I mean, I don't think there's another player in the Premier League who can do that. That's the level of ability he's got in him. And, I want to see that tonight. I want him to completely take the game by the scruff of the neck and, say that, I run this midfield.
I think obviously he's having a great sort of second season. Someone who burst onto the scene last year and then obviously doing a much better this year. I think you look at Bergwijn. I don't know what you think, Keith. Obviously very disappointed in that last Liverpool game when he hit the post with that chance. But do you like to see him? Do you think he's the best one? If we always know that Kane and Son are bang on starters, do you like to see him as that third attacking player?
Well, I think the results when he plays speak for themselves. sometimes his end product's not particularly good, but when he plays, we seem to always get results. So, yeah, and I've seen he's playing there tonight. So just hope that he can turn up tonight and hopefully rectify what did happen at Anfield.
Yeah, so just got the team in. It looks like it's going to be a back five. So Lloris in goal with a back sort of three more central defenders of Rodon, Dyer and Davies, with Aurier on the right and Ndombele and Højbjerg in the middle, Doherty on the left, and then a front three of Kane, Bergwijn and Son, presumably all interchanging. Go to you, Cenk, first. What do you think of that?
Immediately with a back five, I'm thinking they're trying to mark the front three out of the game. And the thing with Salah is that he cuts in on his left. He's left-footed. So Doherty is naturally, defensively, is obviously going to be marking him on the right. So it might work in our favour, actually, having a right footer on that side against Salah. But all in all, we've got the quality. And I'm glad to see Rodon, because I think he played against Chelsea. It was his debut, right, in the Prem. So I think it would be good to see him. He was a little bit shaky, and I think Giroud had a chance at the end in that game as well. But I want to see him this game because you don't play much better players than that Liverpool front three. So it'd be a good test for him. But as a unit as well, especially, I think we've got to be compact. We've got to be very clinical because last time we saw what happened when we didn't take our chances and it didn't work out. So that'll be interesting. Yes, Doherty's left wing back, Nico's just asked. It looks like it anyway. I could see it actually because Aurier's played left wing back for Ivory Coast sometimes as well, but I think it's going to be Doherty there. But overall, I think we've got a very good chance tonight with that team.
Yeah, I just saw Football Heritage called it in the comments there about 5 minutes. Yeah, went live, which is pretty impressive. But, tell you what is also quite interesting. Obviously, got to look at Liverpool as well. Not sure what you think, Ben, but Henderson playing at centre half again with Matip. I think for me, anyway, that's pretty encouraging. I mean, I feel like if we can get the run on them, it's obviously not his strongest position. With Milner in the middle as well, probably doesn't offer as much going forward. So yeah, what do you think of that?
It's definitely an area to exploit. I've seen Henderson every game he's played centre half. It doesn't look comfortable there at all. And yeah, I think having Milner there as well is not going to offer this, protection, when they're on retreat as well. So that's absolutely something we should target, at every attack. It's there to be gotten behind if we just play the right ball and, as you say, be clinical with the chances we get. Absolutely.
No, definitely. I think just looking at that, obviously you've got to talk about Eric Dyer this season as well, playing centre half. He's obviously going to be in for it tonight, and we know how deep Firmino likes to drop as well. So, what do you reckon, Keith? Do you think it's going to be a case of him sitting in and maybe Davies and Rodon being able to push on a little bit further, or do you think maybe it'll be Dyer actually with a bit more free space in there to get the move started?
I think Dyer's actually a better covering centre half than he is coming out and attacking the ball a lot. He doesn't have the pace to come out and stay. And obviously, I think if he does do that tonight, he'll get torn by that front three. And I just think hopefully we can keep the front three out of the game. And with the midfield we have there, I think we can grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and hopefully we can catch him on the break once or twice.
Yeah, you got a comment in there just asking you think Ndombele will play well tonight. What are your thoughts? What are your predictions?
I reckon Ndombele, if he plays well tonight, I reckon we win this game easy. I think he will. I think he'll grab the game by the scruff of the neck, and I think he'll show on midfield what a proper Premiership centre midfield performance is. Yeah,
I think so. I think he is the key. I mean, talking about that midfield area, I'm just going to throw it out there, and it's a bit of a debatable one. I'm a huge Harry Winks fan. I think he's been playing well recently. Do you think it's a little bit harsh and maybe he's not playing? I know Højbjerg and Ndombele are the two best at the moment, but just looking at the games going forward as well, what do we think of that? Do you think there's maybe a place for him to come in today and maybe make an impact, Cenk?
I don't know. I think our best midfield two, if we're going to go with a midfield two, is probably Højbjerg and Ndombele. I think that's probably where it's most balanced. You've got Højbjerg, who's obviously very, very aggressive, likes to win the ball, gets stuck in, and then Ndombele can pick a pass out as well. Obviously, Winks is, he did very well against Wickham, actually fair play to him. So, I mean, we've got some games coming up midweek as well. So maybe that'll be more of a chance for him to get some more minutes under his belt.
Yeah, I think it's quite an interesting one, just looking at the way the two teams shape up as well. One area that I'm a little bit worried about, and I'll see what you think, Ben, but just looking, obviously, Aurier and Doherty, we won't know till the game starts, whether that's more of a sort of flat back five of those two sitting in, or whether they're bombing on more. But if they do decide to go forward, it sort of leaves that gap with Rodon having to go, deal with Mane coming in. Are those sort of wide areas? Is that something that worries you? If those wingers can get in behind those wing backs?
If they push up too high, it will be a concern because they've got to be smart in how they do it. I think when we're off the ball, it'll probably be like more of a flat five. But I think if the chance comes, you'll see them bomb forward. But yeah, they've got to be smart in how they do it because if they don't, Mane and Salah, regardless if they're out of form, the quality they've got, they'll just cut them to ribbons and they'll just leave huge gaps to be exploited on the wing. So yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think just looking at the bench as well, which is pretty interesting, and obviously Gareth Bale in the week when we played Wickham on Monday did pretty well. I'm not sure what you think, Keith, but I mean we spoke about Bergwijn already at the start of the live, but hopefully there's a place for him to come on and make an impact today. He hasn't, and I think when he joined, a lot of us were hoping he'd be the guy joining in these big games and being that difference that takes us to the next level. And he definitely looked sharper on Monday. So do you hope there's sort of a place for him to come in today?
Yeah, I think Bale against tired legs today, he looked like he had that bit of sharpness back in the week against Wickham. Obviously, it is only Wickham, but that bit of sharpness, that bit of confidence from the goal, the last 20 minutes, I really think that if you can get Bale on, if the game's close, then he could be the difference in the game and he could get the winner. Yeah,
definitely. I think just looking at comment from Nico there, obviously saying, it doesn't look like a weak defence. Trent and Robbo are obviously still the brilliant players that they are. Got to watch out and work our attacks really well. And I think that's an important point. I'm going to put the question out there: Would anyone have liked to have seen Lucas Moura start, or are we very much in the camp that he's a bench player, not much more than that? What do you reckon, Jank?
You know what? I would actually put Bergwijn in this. I feel like he would have that fire in his belly from the last game, from the last game against Liverpool. He missed those two chances. Obviously, it wasn't ideal, but I feel like he would want to prove that, I'm still here. I'm still a quality player. I can finish in these sort of games, and I can work for the team. And there's a lot of chat about his defensive contribution as well. I think Moore offers that as well. I think they're both very team players, if that makes kind of sense. So we'll see how it goes. I think we've got, like you said though, we've got options off the bench. We've got more. Is Moore on the bench?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, Moore on the bench, Bale as well. So I can't see why we can't change it if it's not going right.
Yeah, I think I've seen Elias say there as well. He hopes Son comes back into his great form. Do you think he's been maybe not quite at his best recently? I'm not sure what you think, Ben or Keith. I mean, he still looks incredibly dangerous, but tonight's definitely the night where you expect him, if he gets one chance, to definitely put it away.
Yeah, I think the last 2-3 games, it's kind of just been forcing it too much. When the chance arrives, and then he feels the need to compensate for it, and then ends up trying too hard almost. So, but yeah, I do feel this game is literally tailor made for him to bomb forward and get. If he gets one chance, we saw at Anfield, he had one chance the whole game, buried it in the net. So I feel he'll be up for it tonight.
What do you reckon, Keith?
Yeah, I just don't think Trent's a great defender. I think going forward, he's really good for them at right back. But I think if you can get Son in behind them, then I think give him that one chance like they did at Anfield, and I think we can easily catch them out there.
Yeah, I think on that topic of defenders, obviously their defence maybe not being particularly strong. One thing that would definitely raise a few eyebrows is obviously Toby Alderweireld looking like he's been pushed out the first team at the moment. Just looking at that, Jen, what do you reckon to that? I mean, I know he's getting on a little bit now, but for me, he's still just a Rolls Royce defender, and I feel like he's exactly the sort of player I'm so grateful he's playing in games like this normally.
Yeah, I mean, he's 32 now, I think, and to be fair, he was starting a lot of the games from the first interval of the season, but now it's kind of been dropped out a little bit, and he's kind of only just playing in like the midweek cup games and stuff. I don't know what it is, if there's anything behind the scenes, if Mourinho feels it's time to maybe go for a younger option in Rodon and players like that. I'm not particularly sure what it is. I don't think I've necessarily seen, any poor performances. I think he, against Wickham, him and Sanchez both got run ragged against Ikpeazu, I think it was, for Wickham. So, I think, look, I'm not going to look too much into it. I think, like I've said, I'm happy to see Rodon start, and it's good to see Dyer in there as well. I think he'll want it's a game that he'll want to play well in. So we'll see how it goes with a back three today.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting point, obviously, how we do it at the back. Obviously, going forward, Nico's saying that he's hoping, well, it looks like Jose wants Bergwijn to redeem himself. I think we're all hoping that if he does get a chance, he can put it away because, like we already touched on, it feels like he's doing everything right, but that last bit, which is obviously the hardest bit, putting it back in the net. I think looking at that and looking at the teams going forward, do you think, when we talk about the midfield battle, maybe if both defences look like they might be a tiny bit shaky, do you think there's a chance for a Thiago masterclass? Liverpool fans obviously banging on about him. What do you reckon, Ben? Because I personally haven't seen it. I know he's a brilliant player, but this is the sort of game where you feel like he could come alive.
There's no question, talent-wise, he's absolutely exceptional. There's very few people I've seen so great sort of football, but I do feel he just tends to pop around without ever making an incentive like ball through the middle. But if you give him the space, he'll do that. But if he's going to do it, then this would be the game to show it. But hopefully, he doesn't. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I mean, we're all praying. I think just seeing a comment come in from Shane there saying, if we sit back and try the counter attack, we're in trouble. I think when we played that game at Anfield, we very much know we could have gone and won the game, but also we did ride our luck at times and they weren't firing that day. Just looking at that, Keith, do you think that it is going to probably be a back five and letting them throw from they've got us and then just trying to sort of hit them with a sucker punch, or are you hoping to see us put a little bit more pressure on them than we did at Anfield?
I think we'll predominantly sit back. We know what Mourinho's like in these games, but at the same time, especially at home this season, it's worked. You take the Arsenal, the City, the United game at Old Trafford, like even the game at Anfield, it could have very easily gone a different way. And I think even with a back five tonight, it gives you a chance to maybe your two wing backs to push on a bit more and maybe try and get forward and provide that extra bit that we might need to get over the line tonight.
Definitely. I think it's also worth looking at the table before this game as well, because for all their plaudits and so far this season, Liverpool injury problems they've had, we win this game today, we obviously go above them with a game in hand as well. Not sure what you think, Cenk, but just looking at the table, obviously it is mad this season, and City are probably the favourites now. But do you think if we win this, we're still in a title race, or do you think it's just top four that we go from there?
I don't want to say anything stupid like, we'll go and win the league or whatever. I'll stay level-headed. I think this game, a win, would put a proper statement in. I think we'll be back really in the mix, because this season's been so weird. Any team can go on a little run and they'll be probably at top of the table. It's that case. And I mean, there's not a lot of points separating the top half of the table, honestly. Like I've said, any half-decent team that puts 3 or 4 wins together is back up there. So, again, look, it's a tough one. But if we win today, it's very good for our momentum, very good for our confidence. And we've just got to try and get the 3 points today. It's crucial.
Definitely. I think quite a lot of chat about the teams there, quite a lot of chat about the players, the key matchups. And I think one thing we're nice for, I'm going to start with you, Ben. Based on what we've seen, based on how both teams are playing, what's your prediction for tonight? Not just in terms of the score, but how you think the game's going to go.
I think it's going to be, we'll sit and let Liverpool with the ball and we'll just break on them and hopefully be clinical with the chances. But look, I'm going with my heart. I'm going to say Spurs win 3-1.
3-1, yeah?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing then. I thought Spurs scored 3 goals against Liverpool. I know it's hard, isn't it? Because when we do predictions, I can never. I mean, it's against the rules, isn't it, to say that Spurs are going to lose? But we definitely have a tough one tonight. Keith, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you can't really predict the Spurs game until maybe about 10 minutes into it.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. I'm quietly optimistic, but at the same time, if we were to be beat tonight, I wouldn't be too surprised. But I do think they have looked very blunt in the last few games, and I think if we can just neutralise that attacking threat they have in that front three, I don't see where the rest of the goals will come from. So I think 2-0, probably a goal in the first half and then a breakaway goal in the last 15-20 minutes, hopefully.
Love it. What do you reckon, Cenk?
I've got a few stats here. I come prepared. So Liverpool have won once in the last 7, right? And they've only won 2 away games this season in the Premier League, right? So at the end of the day, this game is in favour for us. Prediction-wise, I hate predicting Spurs games because it always comes back to bite me. I'm normally more the goal scorer. So, but in terms of today, I'm going to go for I think a clean sheet is very ambitious. So I'll go for a 2-1 Spurs.
Strong.
Yeah.
Strong. I love the fact you brought this back as well.
Yeah, I come prepared.
Yeah, it's tough. I normally when I'm doing this, I sort of bottle it and go for a draw. But I think even with what you've said there, and I feel like the fact if we're embracing this way that we are going to sit in, we've got the ability to go and hit them. And I think with their makeshift centre half pairing, I'm also going to go 2-1 Spurs. I'm going to say
Yeah.
a couple of comments that have come in since we've been talking about that. One saying, obviously, we're surprised that Toby's not starting. I think we've covered that and said we sort of knew it was coming after the Wickham game, but there's still definitely a place in the squad. And then will we miss Reguilon? Haven't actually really touched on him yet, apart from talking about Doherty at left wing back. And it is an important one because he really has showed that quality in the big games. Some of the balls he's whipped in, and his defensive work for me is not actually incredible, but it doesn't matter because of the amount he gets up and down, and he's still a very competent defender. So obviously we know he's picked up an injury, but do you think he'll be a big loss tonight, Ben?
Yeah, I feel the way that the team's set up, you think he would be perfect for that breaks if you need a ball in the box quickly. He's so good at just taking a ball first time and just not taking a touch, just immediately getting it in high in there for Kane, Son or whoever. So yeah, it's a shame he's not in, but because I think the game would have been perfect for him in that system. But
yeah, I know what you mean. I think another prediction's coming there from Wayne. A hard fought Spurs 2-1 win. We love to see that. Doherty at left back, it's coming up quite a lot, and it is a bit of a worry. I think probably be the last thing we'll touch on. I'll just go to you, Keith. For you, hoping that maybe if he does do well there, obviously he hasn't actually had the best start to his Spurs career, so this is probably the biggest. It's definitely the biggest game of his season. But it's sort of quite a defining moment for him at Spurs, I feel.
Yeah, and do you know what? I actually feel that he could have a really good game tonight. I know he's not been good, but at the same time, Salah likes to cut in, and if Doherty's coming in on his right foot, it does make it that slight bit easier. And he's a rather physical player as well, so I think set pieces as well as that he'll be a big help. I think it's his chance to really try and to make a claim to get into our team for the rest of the season, and hopefully it turns up tonight.
Hopefully, I think we'll finish on this question because it's a good one and we've got to throw it out there. Can we win the league if we win tonight? The title race. I'll ask each of you. I'll start with you, Ben. What do you think?
Yes, we can.
Love
Absolutely can.
I love it. What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Keith?
I'm not saying anything yet. No, I just don't want to say anything because
we're so just ground down by in the past, aren't we? That we can't even bring. You feel that? I mean, will you be happy to say that if we do win, there's a possibility?
There might be a possibility. And there's a possibility for anyone. There's so many teams in the mix this season. I don't even know who's going to finish top four. It's just so weird, and teams are up and down, and it's just an odd one, really. So I'll stay preserved, and we'll take it game by game.
Yeah, you'll do that. I think, like you said, it's a mad season this year. It's why we're all looking forward to it. Gutted that we can't be there and all the other Spurs fans can't be there tonight. But we'll probably be cheering them on, 8 o'clock kickoff. Yeah, we're all buzzing. And I think, come on, you Spurs.
Yeah.
Spurs. Secondly, I'll say this. I think if we're doing this, I think there's a chance we could win the league because we deserve it after the year we've all been through. But thanks to everyone who left their comments. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is the first one. Appreciate everyone getting involved. And if there's any feedback, anything they want to say, please just let us know. But yeah, we'll be watching the game with you. Look at the Spurs web online, see us commenting throughout the game. And as we said, come on the Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, the Spurs.
Cheers, guys.